Good morning. Greetings, friends. And welcome to the Bight Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast, wild, crazy world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to the Bight Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That is why we are here every day on the Bight Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like acne and psoriasis and eczema and rosacea and digestive ailments and autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human body is a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It is a renewing system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself. On a moment-to-moment basis, it needs raw materials to do its work. But other than the raw materials, it does it on its own, folks. And while it may seem like a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health and nutrition or prescription drugs, we welcome your phone calls on the Bight Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you're dealing with a degenerative disease crisis, an autoimmune disease, if you have a health problem of any kind, let us help you. Let us help you get off your meds. Let us help you reverse, renew, help your body renew, whatever your health challenge is. 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. Let us help your body heal and renew from whatever your health challenge is. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised on the program or recommended on the program, you can head over to brightsideben.com and take a look at our shopping cart. You can also sign up to join the Bight Side Ben team right off the website, brightsideben.com, or you can call the Bight Side Ben phone team at 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470. Also want to remind you to check out my blog, pharmacistben.com, or my new blog, criticalhealthnews.com. Okay, we'll get your calls here in the bottom of the hour. We're talking skin and skin health. I'm talking specifically, at least the last couple of days, we've been talking about dry skin. Dry skin's an epidemic. It's universal. Most adults have at least some degree of dry skin. It's certainly not a life-threatening problem, but it is a sign. It is a signal. It is a symptom of something breaking down in the body. And like all disease is cell disease, dry skin is also a cell issue. All disease is cell disease. Skin health issues are no different. In the case of dry skin, you've got a disorder of your skin cells, a disorder of your moisturizer cells. Those are called sebum cells. Between disorders of the skin cells, technically they're called keratinocytes, keratin cells, and a breakdown in skin moisturizer cells or sebum cells, you end up with dry skin. Skin cells, keratin cells, sebum cells, they need everything that your bone cells need and your muscle cells need and your heart cells and your brain cells and your liver cells and your bone cells and every other cell in the body. They all need the same things, and they all need the same things in the right measure and the right proportion. They need nutrients, vitamins, your mighty 90 essential nutrients, vitamins and minerals, and accessory nutrients and essential fats and amino acids. They need oxygen. And they need detoxification. They need a clean place to do their work. That's it, folks. If you have dry skin, you got a nutrient problem, an oxygen problem, as well as an inflammatory problem or a toxification problem. In the case of skin cells are constantly dividing. They're constantly growing. They grow faster than any other cell system in the body, and they're sloughed off into the environment over time. And this is where distinctions come in. Yesterday or the day before, we talked about how important it is to make distinctions in the body. When we look at the skin, it just looks like an inert covering. It doesn't really look like much is happening, but if you zoom in with your X-ray vision or your microscopic nano vision, you'll see layers. And these layers of the skin, or understanding these layers of the skin, is very instructive if you're going to take care of your dry skin. And dry skin is based on a combination of a broken down surface layer or barrier layer, as well as a broken down sebum or oil making cells, as well as water trapping cells or water trapping tissue underneath. Putting a moisturizer cream on is not only not going to help your dry skin, but its chances are pretty darn good it's going to make matters worse. And this is why people get addicted to their moisturizing cream or moisturizing lotion. This whole process of skin cell growth and movement is very complicated, it's very regulated, and it's very tightly controlled. Thank God we don't have to think about about making or helping our skin cells grow, or about making or helping our skin cells divide, or about making or helping our skin cells rise to the top. They do it on their own under healthy conditions. Control and regulation and stabilization of this movement of cells upwards from the bottom layers of the skin to the top requires oxygen, it requires detoxification, and requires nutrition. Under conditions of starvation, suffocation, and toxification, these are the only three things you need to know about if you're dealing with any kind of health challenge. Starvation, suffocation, and toxification. You don't have to worry about the pH, and you don't have to worry about mechanical strategies, and you don't have to worry about drugs, and you don't have to worry about dermatologists as long as you take care of your mighty 90 essential nutrients, oxygenation, and detoxification. If you're wondering how drugs fit into the equation at all, they fit into the equation by being toxic. And if you're interested in maximizing or optimizing detoxification, the last thing you ever want to do is get a prescription drug from your doctor. The last thing a medical professional should ever do is give you a prescription drug if he's really interested in health and wellness and healing. Thus my problem with the entire medical model and its representatives. Under conditions of nutritional deficiency, suffocation, toxification, inflammation, and when I say suffocation, I'm really referring to inflammation, as well as poor respiratory techniques, poor breathing strategies. Your skin cells are not going to grow correctly, the skin barrier will not form correctly, sebum and oil-making cells are not going to grow correctly, moisture factors are not going to be produced correctly, and guess what? You're going to have rough, dry skin. And there's not a single moisturizer on planet Earth that can make a difference, except for maybe superficially. If you're African American, you may say your skin is ashy. Or you may have a condition called keratosis pylorus. That's called chicken skin. When African Americans say that their skin is ashy, what they're really referring to is dead skin cells are piling up on the surface. Keratosis pylorus, or chicken skin, is the manifestation or the result of bumps on the surface of the skin, again caused by cells not dividing correctly. Or you might have eczema. Eczema is a condition where you end up with these significant patches of poorly developed or completely undeveloped skin barrier. At the core of all these disease states and all these health breakdowns, dry skin, ashy skin, keratosis pylorus or chicken skin, eczema, at the core of all of these things, all these health issues, you're going to find sick, starved, and toxic skin cells, keratinocytes they're called. Keratin-making cells, keratinocytes. And by the way, you don't have to have a full-blown disease state either. Something as simple as dry skin can be associated with nutritional deficiencies and inflammation and toxification. As skin cells are rising from the lower layers to the top, rising from the bottom to the top, they're shape-shifting, they're morphing. And as they're shape-shifting and as they're morphing, this is so cool, this is where moisturization comes from. As they're shape-shifting and morphing, they're dumping their contents overboard. Imagine this. You've got cells at the bottom of the bottom layers of the skin. And when you think of a cell, just think of a little animal, tiny microscopic animal that's doing everything an animal does. It eats and it excretes and it breathes and it builds and it grows and it reproduces and it divides, etc. As these skin cells are doing their work, they're changing shapes, and as they're changing shape, they're dumping their contents overboard into the stuff. Remember, it's all cells and stuff. As cells are moving upwards, they're dumping their contents into the stuff. And you know what happens to those contents that are being dumped overboard? They become moisture factors. How cool is that? As a cell is rising from the lower layers of the skin to the upper layers, to the barrier, it's changing shape and it's dumping its contents overboard, and its contents become moisture factors. This is how the skin, or one of the main ways that the skin moisturizes itself. As the cells grow and divide, they dump their contents overboard, those contents become moisture factors, and the skin becomes moisturized. The skin becomes soft, the skin becomes hydrated. The ultimate goal of a skin cell, as it's rising upwards to the top and dumping its contents overboard, is to become a surface cell, a surface barrier. So you've got two mechanisms at place here. As the cell's rising to the top, it's dumping its contents overboard. Those contents become moisture factors. The cell continues on its journey upwards until it ends up on the top of the skin and it becomes a barrier. What I'm saying here, you guys, is the movement of cells has to occur. Skin cells has to occur correctly if our skin is going to be moist. If the movement is not occurring correctly, the skin will be dry. That's the cause of dry skin. Cells not moving correctly, or at least partially the cause. We're back on the bright side. Got lines open for you at 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised on the program, or if you want to join the Bright Side Ben team, call the phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. We'll get your calls here in the bottom of the hour at 844-236-6010 if you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, or the longevity products, or if you have a success story you'd like to share, or if you want to contribute to our conversation on skincare and skin health. We're talking dry skin. Excuse me. Dry skin is a movement problem. It's a cell movement problem. Cells not rising upwards from the bottom layers of the skin to the top layers of the skin. Got to zoom into the skin to really see what's happening. And what you'll see is layers, and you'll see cells rising from the bottom to the top, shape shifting, morphing as they rise from the bottom to the top. And this morphing is really what's behind keeping your skin soft and hydrated and moist. There's three mechanisms for skin moisturization. The first is as cells are rising from the bottom to the top, they're dumping their contents overboard. Those contents become sponges, molecular sponges or moisture factors. As cells are rising from the bottom to the top, ultimately they become a barrier or a surface on the cell, on the surface of the skin. And this barrier surface keeps moisture in. That's the second mechanism. And then interspersed with the cells and the surface, you have sebum or skin oils, which act to trap water, which further act to trap water. And those are the three mechanisms, healthy mechanisms, normal mechanisms, natural mechanisms that the skin uses to keep itself moist. If you rub a moisturizing cream on the surface of the skin, all three of these functions are going to be operating at less than optimal levels. You're going to be slowing down the movement of cells. That means you're going to have less contents being dumped overboard. You're going to have less of a surface on the skin, less barrier on the skin, and your sebaceous secretions, your sebum secretions, your natural skin oils will also be produced at a reduced rate. So moisturizers are anti-moisturizers. This is why people get addicted to their moisturizing cream, and it represents a humongous scam. Now, I'm not saying that your skincare companies necessarily know, although I'm pretty sure they do, that people get addicted to their moisturizing lotions. That is, the more they use, the more they need, the more they buy, the more they have to use. But the fact of the matter is, from a chemistry perspective, from a scientific perspective, from a health perspective, the last thing you ever want to put on dry skin is a moisturizer. How's that for heresy? And I've been doing this for a long time, folks. This is why people get addicted to their Blistex and why people get addicted to their chapstick. Likewise, you have moisture factors in your lips, and the more chapstick you use, the more you're going to end up needing. Any health care or skincare professional that recommends a moisturizer needs to go back to biochemistry or needs to take biochemistry 101, whether that's a dermatologist or an esthetician or a friendly neighbor who recommends the latest and greatest moisturizing product. If it's a skincare company profiting off of our misery, that's even worse. Three mechanisms that the skin uses to moisturize itself. Number one, as cells rise to the top, they're dumping their contents overboard. Those contents become moisture factors. Number two, as cells rise from the bottom to the top, they ultimately become a barrier on the surface that traps water. And number three, sebaceous or oil secretions, sebum secretions from cells that are called sebum cells or sebocytes, produce or types of oils that act to trap water. That's how your skin stays moist. All of this is just part of normal health. So if our skin's dry, our bodies are not normally healthy. One of the most fascinating of these cellular extrusions, these cellular components that gets pumped out of cells as they're moving upwards from the bottom to the top, is something called hyaluronic acid. I absolutely love this stuff. We're going to spend a day or two talking about hyaluronic acid, but before I get into it, I just want to tell you right from the top, you can't get the benefits of hyaluronic acid, the growth benefits, the anti-cancer benefits, the detoxification benefits, the moisturizing benefits, the health benefits of hyaluronic acid by rubbing it on the surface of the skin. That ain't going to happen. What you will get if you rub hyaluronic acid on the surface of the skin is a little bit of water trapping on the surface, and you might get some temporary relief from your dry skin, but you're not going to create health changes in the skin by rubbing hyaluronic acid on the surface. And I hear when I'm doing my skincare presentations or doing talks or even on the radio, invariably somebody will want to know about high hyaluronic acid in skincare products. It doesn't do much. That's the answer. If you want to know about high hyaluronic acid in a skincare product, it's expensive and it doesn't do much because its effects are underneath the surface of the skin.